Hello everyone. I initially wanted to show you a new tarot deck that has been published recently by an independent artist. It is absolutely fabulous, and I will do a not a review right now because I haven't been working with it, but maybe a flip through. It's called the Tabula Mundi Tarot. But it just so happens that something else came to mind this morning while I was working with the Isis Oracle, which, by the way, it's not something that I've ever thought or considered working with, just because I do not connect with Egyptian deities. Um, but yesterday I was in one of my favorite shops here in Vancouver, and I was flipping through it, and it seemed so accurate, and I instantly connected with it, so I had to get it. So because I am home alone this morning, and I was able to take a bit of time and focus on myself, what came up for me really profoundly was the presence of challenges in our lives through our children. I'm sure many of you that are on a spiritual path and not only have a great deal of insights from your children. My daughter is almost 10 right now, and she has been the most challenging aspect of my life with the most breakthroughs, obviously. I cherish her presence in my life. I'm acknowledging it for what it is. And to me, she is the one person that understands me the most and that pushes me the most. And recently, my tarot practice, it's becoming more and more transparent, and especially in my family. And because I'm also very dedicated to my career, my daughter feels very puzzled as to why don't I pursue tarot full-time, why don't I pursue the healing arts in that sense. I'm also in a healing profession, but one that is very standardized and offers very little freedom as to how you choose to pursue it and how you choose to work with your patients. It is gratifying, but it's very, very different than a spiritual practice, and in a way that has always been a conundrum for me, and it's always been a battle between the pragmatic aspect of life, of wanting to be a professional working mom, and having a deeply spiritual affinity towards this side of my existence. So that's when my daughter comes to play. She pushes my buttons, but she's the person that I'm starting to understand, that I'm learning the most. It's not a very conventional mother-daughter relationship. We're friends, we're allies, and we're enemies at times. But she's pushing me to see the light and darkness in myself. And because I was watching some videos about the feminine, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and I didn't really resonate at the beginning with what was being said, I started to realize, working with the Isis Oracle, that I do need to heal both the masculine and the feminine, because I do have a very masculine tendency, and I am a go-getter, and when I start, I don't really know when to stop. And that's the masculine, that's pragmatic side. And then when it comes to our divine feminine, the one that wants to come through botification, through makeup, and through the healing arts, through interacting with our children, our homemaking traits. That's where I feel like I'm lacking that sort of affinity, I guess. So how do we acknowledge the challenges that our children bring into our lives? How do we connect to our true passions and our true endeavors when they're being portrayed, they're being projected back to us by our children? It's very hard because first, we tend not to take them seriously. Second, it's that resistance that the ego puts in place, because your children speak directly to your heart and they speak to your soul. But most of the time we have that ego filter that chooses to deny access to true information, true knowledge, access to freedom. Our ego is not really interested in letting us be free. But how do you become resolute? How do you try and combine and marry the pragmatic aspects and the responsibilities in your life and the things that you think are good for you and you should be doing in relation to what you really feel your calling is? I feel right now that I'm at a crossroads yet again, as I have before. So I will be interested to know if any of you have ever felt the same before. If you feel that you had to choose between a spiritual path and a more traditional, and when I say traditional, I mean for our society, professional slash being in service to others in a acceptable, societal acceptable way. It has been very difficult for me to accept what my true inner calling is, especially coming from my child. But I urge you to be very open and responsive to what your children are conveying to you. Their messages are very important. They're here to help us just as much, if not more, than we are here to guide them. They are true to themselves a lot more than we are. They are our guiding light sometimes, and it's very hard for us to recognize that. We feel sometimes that we chose to bring them into this world, and maybe sometimes that is not the case. But what I definitely feel is that they have chosen us, and there is a reason for that. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please enjoy your day. And if you do have children, make it a special interest today to listen to them. Really listen and really be there. Thank you.